Hi, my name is Alexis, and this is my informed speech for Comm 210, and I will be speaking about Pope Francis. I decided to pick Pope Francis because I personally am not of a very religious person, and I had only ever heard of him growing up from my late grandmother, who would talk about him and was just loved him, but I never really knew anything significant he had done. So after his passing, I decided to look more into it to see why he was such a loved person. And in my video, I will be discussing a little bit about his life and how he picked his name and how he really lived up to his name with the significance he did to the world. He left a very big impact. Just jumping into it, Pope Francis, he was formerly known as Jorge Mario Bergoglio. He was born December 17th, 1936 in Argentina to Italian immigrant parents, and he was actually the first pope to ever be from the Americas or even the Southern Hemisphere. So that brought great significance to him being the Pope. And he died April 21st, 2025 after Easter Sunday at 7:35 a.m. This would mean his last public appearance was in St. Peter's Square. He died of a stroke and cardiac arrest, according to Al-Hazaro. I think that's how you say it. The Pope Francis became the Pope at age 76 in March of 2013, and he knew he was coming into a religion that was struggling to modernize, and which is why he chose to counsel younger people, and he decided to try and meet them where they were at in this modern world, and which really helped bring the Pope to younger people as well, which is why he's just known to be loved by older people and younger people. And the significance of his name, Pope Francis, he picked it after Saint Francis. This was deliberate act was to highlight the values of humility, to serve the poor, and commitment to peace, which is associated with Saint Francis. And Pope Francis would live up to this name. He was well known as the People's Pope, and Pope Francis did not care to hide his anger when it came to the mistreatment of others and frequently spoke out about this. He spoke out against the mistreatment in several contexts, particularly focusing on sexual abuse, and even made a historical apology in 2019, I'm pretty sure, to anyone that had faced any sort of abuse from the church. This meant nuns and children and any other people that did face any sort of abuse from the church. And he also spoke out about the mistreatment of women and indigenous people. He actively sought to address the systematic issues that allowed such abuse to occur. He also spoke out against the exploitation of refugees and immigrants. Pope Francis also welcomed the LGBTQ+ community into, and in particularly gay and trans people. He also spoke about same-sex marriage and publicly affirmed his belief that God made you like this, and I love you, and he loves you. And altogether, Pope Francis was a non-violent individual who sought to bring people together and build bridges between communities. He dedicated his papacy to fostering interreligious dialogue and bring different faiths to different people. He promoted peace and love and traveled to meet different religious leaders, with various traditions. He met with leaders from Judaism, Islam, and Buddhism, and emphasized the shared love and values, and how we all stood on common ground. Thank you, and that is Pope Francis, RIP.